Dr. Michelle Dulake, I think of you because, in fact, you are not only a veterinarian, but an Eastern Western medicine veterinarian who created Fera Pets. So I think of you as that person. Very approachable, very warm and caring, but a serious doctor entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And then you sent out a blog around Mother's Day, which was a ways back, and it was the most charming, thoughtful blogette that I had read in a long time. And it really was saying for those of you that may have complicated feelings or issues or facts around Mother's Day, that's something that we all have to also be aware of. I lost my mother when I was a teenager to cancer, and she was sick for a variety of years before that. But lots of people don't speak to their mother anymore, or
Mhm.
wish their mother had never been their mother, or they live far away and rarely see them, and then they're guilty. I don't know. But did you get a lot of response from that blog? It was very thoughtful and tender.
Yeah, so I think that we take every relationship in our lives very seriously. And so I have dear friends that have lost their mother or that they don't have a strong relationship with their mother. And as a team, we decided to send out an email to say if you would like to opt out of any communications that surrounds,
Wow.
okay, you can opt out of it. And it just takes you out of those couple of emails that we were sending out. And the response that we received was incredible. Everybody,
Really?
so many people reached out saying this was the first time I've ever seen a company do this. Thank you so much for being this thoughtful. We had a lot of people reach out, and so it just shows that if you can kind of take a step back and really relate to people and different relationships in their lives, it can truly make a bigger statement and impact, and they actually fall in love with your brand even more. So
Yeah.
the response is really great, and I'm really grateful that we could have done that. And we actually just sent out a Father's Day opt out as well. Lots of people have complicated relationships
Oh, yeah.
with their fathers, maybe even more. It was, yeah, it's something that we were like, let's test this out, and we got a really positive response back. So we're going to
That's
continue
really
to do it.
nice.
Yeah.
That's great because people's relationships aren't only with their pets. I know that sounds reductionist, but all of the people that come on this show and the companies that I admire and work with and that sponsor it, we're 100% about the human animal bond. The human human bond is so complicated, so
Mhm.
fraught,
Mhm.
so interwoven with such a sludge of stuff that it's really hard to put your toe in that water. And you could have even considered maybe people would give you pushback and not like that you sent out the
Yeah.
message.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really important that we meet people where they stand and understand that maybe when you refer to somebody's pet as their son or daughter, maybe they always wish they could have a son or daughter, or they have terrible relationships with their son or daughter. It's like
Right.
it's a dog or a cat, and that's okay, but just realize that the human human part can be fraught. So I really appreciate that people responded. I'm sure people even that had perfectly good relationships with their mothers, they knit with each other every Sunday afternoon. But it's just nice to recognize that we all come from a different emotional place, and that can change over time.
Yes. Yeah,
So
I'm really glad we did that, and we'll continue to do that. And I'm gonna always try to think of new ways to be able to speak to pet parents and their personal relationships. So it's
yes,
always evolving and always to be even better than we have been in the
that's great. That's
yeah.
really cool. So we have July 4th around the corner, and I get a million emails and PR pitches. It's July 4th. Oh my God, your dog's going to run away. Make sure you, I don't know, don't let them out the door when they're scared by the fireworks. But
Yeah.
fireworks happen only in places where fireworks are being done, which is not a lot of urban places, and all sorts of places don't have fireworks. And even it's only maybe a few days before, a few days after, randomly. But you at Pets do have some solutions to reactions to fireworks, but I would also like to expand that to thunderstorms, lightning, and thunder, which to most dogs, I think, are much scarier than, I don't know, 20 minutes of fireworks. I could be wrong. I'm not a dog. So, what is it that they're so frightened of? Is it the noise or is it the vibration?
Yeah. So I think with fireworks, what really drives their fear response. It's the unpredictability of it. So
Oh,
fireworks don't follow any pattern that a dog can learn. They go off at random intervals, like random
right.
directions, random volumes, and that chaos is what really triggers anxiety for their nervous system. And so dogs are wired to find safety in routine and predictability. And when that's gone, the brain's threat detection system fires into overdrive. And so what you're seeing in a scared dog is a full flight or fight response. So there's a part in the brain called the amygdala. It's the brain's fear center. It will send a signal that floods the body with stress hormones, so adrenaline and cortisol. And then the heart rate spikes, their breathing gets more rapid, their digestion shuts down. And so the body is doing everything it can to survive a perceived threat.
Yes.
And the worst part for them is that most of the time they're inside a home. And so there's nowhere to run. And dogs usually inside, the sound is everywhere. They feel like they can't escape. And so that stress response keeps escalating. And July 4th and July 5th are actually the two biggest days of the year for animal shelters receiving stray dogs. We see about a 30% spike.
Wow.
Because when a dog hits that level of stress, their logic is just thrown out the window. The rational brain is offline.
Yeah.
Even the most well-behaved dogs still try to bolt out the door or over a fence, even if they've never done it before. So I always tell pet parents to just really be there for their pets in that time, because their brain has literally been hijacked by a very primal mechanism in their body. And so just being there for them is super important, since they're going to be very overwhelmed. And thunderstorms are actually even more complex, I would say, because it's sometimes harder to manage than fireworks. So with fireworks, the primary trigger is sound, and it's the unpredictability that we talked about. But with thunderstorms, dogs are reacting to multiple simultaneous stimuli. So the thunder, but then there's also the lightning flashes and the electricity buildup and shifts in humidity and low frequency sound waves that humans can't even hear, but dogs can hear, and that actually precede the storm. So your dog may start showing anxiety signs before the storm has even started. They're not psychic, but because they can sense it, before us. And that's why it can be harder to manage their anxiety, because they can sense it before we can, and you can't fully replicate the full sensory experience to do any desensitization. You could play a recording, but there's so much more to a thunderstorm than playing a recording to desensitize them. It's just really fascinating that they can also feel electricity too. So some dogs experience a buildup of static change during storms that's physically uncomfortable for them. Some dogs could even perceive it as some pain, which is why dogs try to escape wherever they are. If you put them in a bathroom, they try to escape from the tile on the floor or porcelain, because they can feel static changes.
Wow.
So if your dog does this where it's trying to leave different rooms, it's not random. It's their body literally telling them to move away from wherever they are.
Right.
The physical feelings that they feel from a storm. So they're both can cause anxiety, but in different ways, and they are very different when you look at how they affect them.
So one of the remedies or the management tools is, if you happen to have a walk-in closet that's not using an outside wall of your house. At some point, I had a house like that. It was great. I had Yogi Bear, the Rottweiler. Nothing on earth bothered him except for thunderstorms and fireworks. And I didn't know about Fera Pets, so I didn't. In a minute, we'll talk about the kind of concoctions you've come up with for that anxiety. But I would put them. Now, it seems stuffy to me, but it's an internal walk-in closet, so there's no airflow. So you can't leave them in there all night.
Yeah.
But you put them in there, and then the question is, do you put them in there in the dark, or do you turn the light on the closet? Because I have a walk-in closet with an outside window now, and my dog Wanda starts to tremble and salivate and try to escape from wherever she is. So I put her in my walk-in closet, which is carpeted, or it has a carpet in it, but there's an outside window, so I pull the shade down. Should I leave the light on? Do I go and get a portable Alexa and put on, I don't know, classical music, or ask her if she likes Bruce Springsteen better? What are some of, besides the concoctions that we're going to talk about from Fera Pets, have studies been done? Light or dark, noise, music?
Yeah, so definitely the sound, like masking sound, there's been studies that have shown that white noise, fan, even classical music, that there's actually on Spotify, there's classical music playlists that are specifically for dogs.
No.
Yeah, so you can just search dog July 4th.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's different classical playlists there, but there has been real research around that because certain tempos and frequencies reduce anxiety in dogs. So the goal is to create this buffer between your dog and the chaos outside. So I would always recommend some sort of sound, and I think classical music definitely helps. Obviously, you talked about your closet, and so I agree that you want to find a quiet interior room that is doesn't have a wall to the outside, and put them in there with their bed and their toys and something that smells like you, maybe a shirt that you wore that day, because dogs are really scent driven too. They smell, when they smell you, I feel like they do become calmer because you're there with them. The light versus dark, would need to look into this more. I don't know if there's been studies done, but I do feel like if I don't feel like light is a bad thing.
Okay.
With thunderstorms, you want to kind of block off all of the light and just close the door because you don't want them to see any light. I think it's more about not a light switch being on or off, but about them not being able to see the outside, like the lights
Right.
being different colors, the thunderstorm, the lightning. So
Right.
as long as you can close them off, like you said you do in your closet, that is better. And I don't think it matters if there's light on or not, but I can get back to you on.
Excellent. All right. We will follow that up with a little
Yeah.
message to everybody on the next email newsletter after July 4th. So,
Yeah.
what have you come up with as a recipe, and how soon
So
before July 4th should we be giving it?
yeah, so I love talking about this because it's why I started Fera in the first place.
Really?
I kept seeing dogs with anxiety, finding myself super frustrated with finding a middle ground. So there's obviously prescription sedatives that are appropriate in severe cases, but there may not be the right tool for all dogs who just need to
Yes.
edge off. And then on the other hand, there's a sea of pet supplements making calming claims, but no science
Yeah.
behind them. And so I wanted to create something in between where
Yeah.
we had products with clinically studied ingredients that had precise dosing and that I could actually recommend as a vet. So we have three different formulas. So one is a calming powder for dogs and cats that you can easily sprinkle on their food. We have calming soft chews, which is more like a treat and easier to give to dogs. And then we have a goat milk topper, which if your dog is super picky, we recommend this because it's just really tasty. All dogs love it. It's irresistible to them. It tastes like cheese. But the ingredients are obviously the foundation of the formulas. L-theanine is an amino acid that's found naturally in green tea. It's one of the most well-researched calming compounds that we have. It promotes a relaxed state, but also an alert brain without sedation.
Wow.
But the point is that we're not trying to knock out your dog, to really help them regulate their nervous system themselves. So these are
Right.
the ingredients that we give. GABA is another ingredient. It's a neurotransmitter that acts as the brain's natural brake on overexcitability. So when the nervous system is firing 100 miles an hour, GABA helps to slow that down. And then we always include a clinically studied probiotic or postbiotic. So I think we've talked about this before. At Fera, we really believe that the gut brain axis is real and the gut affects the rest of the body. Knowing that the gut microbiome has a direct communication channel to the brain, it was important to us to include a clinically studied probiotic, which is in our powder, and then a postbiotic in the soft chew, because knowing that a big portion of your body's serotonin is produced in the gut and that the gut literally helps influence anxiety levels, it was important for us to include that. Different ingredients like that, I can talk about a lot more. So
No, but it's really interesting because as I'm listening and I'm thinking, yes, the gut brain pathway highway has been documented a lot in people as well.
yeah,
It's one of the most important parts of your body, which we basically disrespect and disregard in people. So I'm
yes,
wondering, all these people with anxieties, I know that your supplements are dosed for pets and invented for pets, but because you're a mother and a person in the universe, what do you think about people having a little more respect for that gut brain pathway, and what can they do to lower their own anxiety, which their dogs and cats pick up on if they have any?
I do think that, so a lot of the ingredients that we pick, there has been studies in humans as well. So like, for example, a supplement that has ashwagandha. I don't know if you've heard of
Yes,
ashwagandha,
I
but
have.
ashwagandha is the most clinically studied form of ashwagandha in the world. So it's not just ashwagandha extract. It's called KSM 66. It's a specific root extract, and it's standardized. It's full spectrum extract with a specific body of research behind it, including randomized controlled trials in dogs. And so
Wow.
we have the study linked on our website, but ashwagandha is an adaptogen, which means it helps the body adapt to and manage stress rather than suppressing the response. And so we have a very effective dose of ashwagandha in our soft chews. And we know that it really helps with chronic anxiety, which is why we recommend giving our supplements a couple of weeks actually leading up to any stressful event. Like, you can give it the night before, it just won't work as well because, again, I try to educate people with supplements. You're not trying to fix something overnight. It's something that you have to give
Yeah,
that will build up in the body over time and truly transform your dog's brain or gut. And so that's what we're actually trying to do, instead of just, let's give my dog melatonin
right,
or a sedative and then they're out for 12 hours or whatever. And then you actually aren't even calming them internally. You're just putting a band-aid on it. That's why it's super important to give it before. And then we also include other botanicals like chamomile, which has a lot of studies behind it, and passion flower, different herbs, because we do at Fera believe in Eastern and Western. So we do include some botanicals in there that help with emotional regulation. And then specifically in our soft chews, we have a clinically studied postbiotic blend of two different blends, and they're not live bacteria like in a probiotic. They're heat treated, so that makes them very shelf stable. And there's clinical research on this combination of these two strains that show benefits for anxiety. And this again goes back to the gut brain axis and how much the microbiome plays a role in how the brain functions. And we have a lot of great ingredients in our formulas. And then if there's any questions between the powder, the goat milk, or the soft chews, like, very open, people can reach out at ferapets.com and just let us know what their questions are. Also, if your pet's on a different medication and you want to make sure that these ingredients can be given together, we have questions like that
right,
all the time, where I make sure that I'm reviewing their medical history and I see what medications they're on, and I advise them, like, this product is safe to take with your medications or
right.
not. So we're very open to talking about that as well.
Well, I think one of the reasons it's important for people to hear all of that from you, and I know you could, as you said, go on even further because you're a science geek. That's what a lot of doctors are just to begin with,
Yeah.
is because I think it's important people understand why your supplements are expensive. They are
Mm-hmm.
expensive based on what you put in them, that you've made sure that it is the right amount of whatever that ingredient is, but also that it's been studied and that version of it is the version you've gotten. And sometimes I'll open a jar of Fera Pets and I go, oh, a different brown powder. Okay. And it's mystery sauce to us. But
Mm-hmm.
we have to know and believe and understand that every jar is doing what it says it's supposed to do because you've paid that attention to detail. Whereas the kind of treat calming chews that are just wandering around the shelves of the big box stores and the little brick and mortars and certainly online at Amazon, they can say whatever they want because there's no law against it. They can claim whatever they want and be darn sure that there's not that attention to detail or scientific knowledge behind it. It's a way to have another product with their name on it that makes them some money. And they
Mm-hmm.
can even overprice it
Mm-hmm.
based on what they spent to make it because they can judge by Fera Pets and the other small handful of companies that really are paying very close attention.
Yeah.
Elevet is one where they're paying so much close attention to where they got the ingredients,
Mm-hmm.
who sourced it, who dosed it, is
Yeah.
it there in every chew, is it there in every batch? And so it seems to me that since I have a really thunderstorm phobic dog, for her it's like fireworks, okay, no big deal. It's horrible, but not as bad as the fact that it's raining now. She
Mm-hmm.
now reacts to rain, as you
Oh.
said, because she knows rain precedes often thunderstorms. She hears the generator go on for its weekly check. We lost power. It must be a thunderstorm. She's
Mm-hmm.
because as you said, the brain is supposed to figure these things out. So it would help, and I'm going to get the calming chews. It
Yeah,
would help, or I could even get the powder because she eats any of her dinner. She's not fussy.
yeah,
It would help her to manage it if that's true. And when she feels that feeling, she could go, oh, it's not that bad,
yeah.
as opposed to, help, where's the closet?
Yes. And if you keep giving it during the thunderstorm season, it
Yes,
it should get better and better every time a thunderstorm happens.
really,
Yes, and she will be calmer as the longer that you give it. So I definitely think that you should try
I'm
um,
going to.
to give that. And obviously, I am very proud of what we do at Fera because we're very transparent. Like you were saying, there's lots of brands out there that just say that they claim different things and they're not doing it the right way. But every supplement that we manufacture is made in the USA. We are making them in GMP certified facilities. We're NASC certified. We have every batch third party tested for purity and potency. You can put in your lot number on our website and it will show you all the C of A's and third party testing that we do for that
Wow.
product. And so transparency is something that we've always felt really strongly about at Fera because I do think that pet owners deserve to know what is that exactly in their pet supplement. And I think some human brands do this as well, but definitely not in the pet space. And so we're at the forefront of transparency with pet parents, and which is why so many people, when they find us, they end up staying with us and becoming loyal customers.
Interesting.
We trust everything that we are putting into the supplements is actually what is there. Everything on the label is actually what is in it. And that you can't say the same for other brands on Amazon and find
Oh,
things.
Lord, you can be sure not. But I
Yes.
also, to the vets and vet techs listening, it's really important to a veterinarian. If somebody's using a supplement, which is, call it holistic, call it Eastern based medicine, the doctors want to know that another doctor has had her nose to the grindstone and paid really close attention and been respectful
Mhm.
of everyone's years of training. You don't want someone to come in and go, oh, look at this cheerful orange jar I got. Shall I use this? And the vet doesn't want to alienate the relationship, but that's just candy. That's dog candy. As
Mhm.
opposed to, oh, sure. If they understand that Fera Pets is one of them, is a doctor driven company, even though it's charming looking and you are accessible and the company's accessible online and through chat, it's really important that people on both sides of the exam table have that level of respect and understand why there is a difference. I'm very proud and happy to work with you. And now I'm going to actually quickly go and order I don't know, maybe before a big event like fireworks, do goat milk and the powder, go for the gusto.
Yeah, you can. I would just obviously try one first for a
Okay.
couple of weeks and see how that works, but you can combine the goat milk with the soft chew or the powder. So yeah, you
And
could
we
get
do want to say this is not just a container of goat milk. A lot of companies sell a container of goat milk. It's specialized goat milk. It's got the Fera Pets magic wand that's been waved over it. It has many other things in it. Michelle, the thunderstorm period is no longer a few weeks in May. All across the country, climate change, we have thunderstorms off and on constantly. So, those of you who have a trembly, salivating, looking like the world is going to come to an end dog like I do with Wanda and used to with Yogi Bear, be grateful that the other dogs don't have it, but do take gentle care of those that do and give them all the support you can. Michelle, thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing what you've written about Father's Day and other days during the year that we all can be more mindful and tender about. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Talk to you later.